everyone, and welcome back to the A2B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship and entertainment, guys. We are back to another week. Thank you so much for our weekly and monthly listeners. Guys, as always, I am joined with my co-host, Barry Bull. What's up, Barry? How you doing?
You purposely did not knife hand me. The fingers came, it was like Spider-Man.
Yep. Spider-Man's like this.
Okay, that's right. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Guys, this episode is brought to you guys by Ramos Capital and Noble Fitness. Like always, those are the only sponsors of the podcast. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe.
Would we take a sponsor?
I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, we can talk about this live on the podcast. Like,
you
who the fuck
said
cares?
last episode, there's always a price.
Yeah, there is.
So there's a price.
They could be
I don't know what it is.
There could be a price. I mean, yeah, we got to talk about it. Last week there was a very eventful week. We did a bunch of rallies with Grant Cardone. I interviewed Grant Cardone. I don't know if you saw that.
That was amazing.
He agreed to come on the A2B podcast, by the way.
No way.
He agreed to come on the A2B podcast.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we might have a billionaire on the podcast. First billionaire that we're going to have on the podcast.
I'm asked for a small
But
one.
guys, let's go ahead and let's focus on the guest for today. You guys are going to love the guest for today because you guys have probably seen him somewhere in your social media like me and Barry have, okay? Today we brought you none other than Sergeant Isaac the Dream! What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
No, you took me back to the old school boxing days.
Literally, that's how I feel.
What up, man? How
You just
doing?
got the best intro he's ever given.
I'm saying
I
that
know.
was like literally on scale with UFC, on scale with WWE, all the above. Albert, I feel honored. Barry, I feel honored to be here. And with that amazing introduction, I just want everyone to know I'm just a normal sergeant, normal guy.
He's lying.
He is lying.
I'm just Sergeant Osei. I go by Isaac the Dream for the people that know me outside of the uniform, but Sergeant Osei. And yeah, guys, let's get into it.
What brings you to the A2B podcast?
You know, I wanted to come spend time with two vets.
Let's go.
I wanted to
Vet
spend time with
bros.
two vets.
Yeah.
Two old heads. Pick y'all's brain.
Wow.
I came here because I wanted to interview y'all.
Oh, let's go.
Hello.
Hey, this is a conversation, right? So I think most of our podcasts are very conversational. So if you do have questions, because I can guarantee you, right, you're here with us now, but the majority of our audience are not. So you might have questions that our audience might have, and we welcome those questions. Like, this is not scripted. Like I say this in almost every interview, but this is not scripted conversations, right? The only thing is, obviously, he's an active duty Marine, so we always look after our active duty folk. And just so y'all know, all the expressions that you see in our podcast are not associated to the DOD, and he does not express the views, expressions, or opinions of the DOD. I just want to throw that out there, right? Because this is based off our personal and individual experiences.
100%.
Sure.
Okay, so Barry asked you, you wanted to come over here and essentially interview us, right?
Yeah.
So brother, talk to me a little bit more about who you are.
So my name is Isaac J. Osei. I'm from Houston, Texas, born originally, and then I spent a good majority of my life in San Antonio. Growing up, age from birth to 5 or 6, I spent time in Houston, Texas. We were in like a low income area called South Acres or Acres Home, and it was rough out there. It was the projects. And then up until the 5 or 6 age, specifically age 5, my mother passed away. My biological mother passed away. And then my biological father took me to San Antonio. A lot of like tension between my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family in terms of who wanted to get custody of me. But I ended up getting plucked to San Antonio. I wanted to be in Houston, but I got plucked to San Antonio. Moved to San Antonio, grew up in like a middle income or middle pay range. Class. Yeah, middle class. Out there, and I spent the majority of my life, and I had no idea what the military was, even though that's a military city, military town. They have Lackland Air Force Base, Randolph Air Force Base, and all these Army bases. I didn't know what that was, nor did I ever know that I wanted to be a Marine, nor did I know I was ever going to be a Marine. Due to things and trials and tribulations in life, and due to me not having the best relationship with my father, I did a lot of, dumb stuff because I was also dealing with the fact that the death of my mother, he was dealing with the death of my mother, and that caused him to act a certain type of way in terms of the way, like, he didn't know how to, I guess, how to, like, overcome that. So it led to a lot of like relationship issues between us, as well as like future partners that he had. So things were rough and stuff like that. And it led me to stray to a bad crowd where I allegedly did bad things. So with that saying, we're still fast forwarding. My high school, like my junior or senior year, I got kicked out of the house. Like he kicked me out, and me and him, like we had like a very bad relationship, not only verbally, but like physically. I'm not gonna say he was beating me because I hit a growth spurt, so I was beating him. I'm not saying people should do that to their parents, but that's the reality. And then I got put out, and I was playing sports and stuff like that, and that's all I wanted to do. That's all I really knew was sports. Like academics were cool too, but all I really knew was sports because I did that my whole lifetime. And he was a collegiate athlete before he like full time did pharmacy stuff and like that. And yeah, I got into bad activities, and then those bad activities put me in a tough position to where I allegedly had to I had to do some stuff, and let's fast forward, I guess, to age 20. I had to make a choice: either become a statistic, end up in jail, or join the world's finest fighting force.
Wow, that's an amazing story.
Yeah, that is.
Was your dad an actual pharmacist, or is that you're saying was okay?
No,
yeah,
he was a legit pharmacist. Like when my mother passed away, he was in like pharmacy school, so he had, I guess, like a lot of weight on the shoulder. He had a newborn son, or like a young son.
Were they together though during that time?
Yeah, they were together.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he was like doing residency in pharmacy school, and then her death came out of nowhere. So I guess that really took a toll on him, and then it unfortunately took a toll on us.
Sure.
But
so you said you had a growth spur, when you were growing up. You look like have you always been in good shape? Because you look like you're in good shape now.
I feel like I've always been in good shape.
Okay, but I feel like you were one of those that were like super skinny when you joined the Marine Corps, and then now that you're a sergeant, now you kind of. Am I right?
That happens a lot, though.
Yeah, it does. It does happen to me, but it's just happening in the wrong spaces. It happened to me too.
I mean, I don't think so. I would say I always have just been kind of like big bodied, but I want to say like when I was in like middle school, I was like a small little thing, like 6th grade, and then 8th grade. I don't know what they put in that food, but But I blew up a little bit, and then I don't know. I feel like I'm a decent size right now, but some of the guys y'all on this pod, y'all got some big guys on there.
Yeah, but you're single though.
Yeah, single, active duty.
Yeah, okay.
Well, be careful. Be careful saying that, because I don't want old ladies coming after me. It's like, I got a picture of this Isaac the Dream. He was on your podcast.
What is his number?
It's like, what is number? I've been texting back and forth with a Sergeant Mosambe from Africa.
You killed me on the last
Jesus
one.
Christ.
With the
old ladies, I swear, I'm putting your ass on blast. I'm stopping being nice.
And okay, but are you on? I hope that doesn't happen, because no BS. Recently, like some of my Marines were like, Sergeant, because I'm not working at my company or my old like unit or whatever. Yeah. They're like, Sergeant, they hit me up. They're like, they keep posting you on this Facebook group chat. Like, are we dating the same Marine?
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Are you on Tinder?
Nah, not on Tinder.
Are you on Farmers Only?
No, I'm on Christian Mingle.
Christian Mingle.
That's the one.
Let's go.
That one got the bad.
We are praying for the right one. I'm not on anything. I'm just.
Well, apparently you're in all of them.
My name's Bennett 9L. Yeah.
Apparently you're in all of them.
That's for real though.
Hey, we having Bible service every weekend. So
nice. That's cool.
So you look like the type of guy that you go to church and you just carry like 10 chairs on each hand.
Yeah.
Just to go like, so that just the girls go like, oh my God. Look at that guy.
No. Actually, growing up, when I went to church, I was always like the usher. But that's how you want to be. That's the key. Like that's how you get in, because then you talk to everybody.
So you are a player.
I'm not a player.
But because you're saying some playerisms.
I'm just trying to say I'm a networker. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's a good one.
That's what players always say.
That's a good one. Okay, so you said at age 20, you decided to be either, you had to make a decision, a rough decision.
Yes, sir.
You had to either be a statistic, or you had to end up in jail, or join the world's finest military force in the world. Hoorah! All right, okay. So how did that happen? Like did you, because obviously you didn't mention that your dad was in the military. You said that he was a collegiate athlete and then that he was going to pharmacy school. Mm-hmm. So how did you learn about the military?
All right, so let's get into it. One of my... So later on in life, after all that stuff happened, I basically I was disowned from my dad. And I got adopted by another family. But that other family, the story gets deep, the rabbit hole gets deep. That other family had lived next to my father, like in the neighborhood that I grew up in San Antonio for a long time. And they basically like was like, hey, like when they found that I was doing X, Y, and Z and I was getting in trouble because I literally had no other corners to turn to, they were like, why didn't you let us know like a long time ago, like all this stuff was happening with your relationship with your dad and that you had to resort to doing X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. Because I grew up with their sons and their sons were in private schools their whole life and I was in public schools. So me and their sons, we parted ways, but we rekindled after I got after I got like basically shunned from being like under my dad's roof.
Gotcha.
So I ran into them. We basically picked up where we left off. Everything was literally like how it was when we first met. And their father was a veteran, like he was an Army captain, but he had got out and he had went on to become an entrepreneur and just become a business mogul. And me and him always had a very good relationship because we were just transparent with each other. And then he also is African American, so he wanted to like look out, and he didn't want that for me in terms of what I was going through. He didn't want me to be a statistic or end up dead or any of that stuff. Yeah. So he was like, hey, I'm gonna put you under my wing and I'm gonna build you up. But he's like, if I'm gonna help you out, you gotta trust the process and trust me, and just know that there's gonna be a light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't know what that means during the early stages, but I was young, dumb, and naive, and I had already hit rock bottom that I was willing to take that chance. So I was like, all right, sir, like we're gonna do this. And with that being said, I had to work like 3 different jobs while like also trying to go to community college, not only to pay for the community college, but also to pay like the fees for the lawyers for the stuff I was doing to get that stuff like off my record and stuff like that. And then I also started going to the different branches. He said he recommended I go to whoever's willing to take me. And you don't really ever hear that. Like you would think he would have been like, oh, go to Army because he was prior Army. No, he said, go to whoever you feel like is best fit for you and whoever will take you. So this kind of reminds me of when y'all did the podcast with Farm. So I went to everybody. What's up?
Okay, no, I'm listening.
So I went to everybody. I went to the Air Force because San Antonio, like I said, has Lackland Air Force Base, Randolph Air Force Base, and not just that, but I heard that the Air Force I was never looking for the easiest route, but I knew I didn't want to do it like long-term mid-career. So I was going to the Air Force because I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to do my 4 and be out. Anyways, I go to the Air Force, get great scores and everything, but then they're like, hey, so tell us about, have you ever been, convicted of X, Y, and Z or blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, like I can't, I'm in a rough predicament right now where it's still in the case of getting off my record. And they basically were like, we're not going to be willing to take a chance on you. So Air Force closed the door on me. Go to the Army. Army people kind of like Farm. Like they were like, hey, like, can you come back another day? That was a bad taste. I was like, what the heck? Like, come back another day. It was literally the same situation. They were like, oh, like the day is about to be over. Can you come back tomorrow? I was like, okay. Like that pushed me away. If I would have had to, and if I wouldn't have got snagged by the Marine Corps recruiter, I would have done it because like I said, my back was against the wall and I needed to be somewhere. Sure. I need to do something and I need to get in a better predicament. Anyways, I'm leaving the Army recruiter and then literally a gunnery sergeant, he was a staff sergeant at the time. So wherever you are, I think he's in Okinawa right now, Gunnery Sergeant Romer, he changed my life and saved my life forever. He snagged me up. I was fit and all that stuff. And he was like, hey, man. And I was like, what's up? He's like, where are you headed? And I was like, I'm about to head home. I'm about to come back over here tomorrow to like the Army place. And long story short, he was just like, hey, like if you have a moment, come into our office. This is RSS San Antonio. And I talked to him and the rest is history. And
Shout out to RSS San Antonio. Let's go.
And I love this story because you walked right in.
100%.
Oh my God. Here we go. He was prospected. There's a difference. The recruiter,
I don't know the terminology. And
the recruiter had to bring him into the office. The applicant did not walk into the office unless the recruiter would have had some type of engagement with him. So that is what's called an AC contact, not an OC. Air canvassing, not office traffic.
Is that true, Isaac? Were you going to walk into the Marine Corps recruiter's office?
If I would have went to the Army and the Army would have gave me the same treatment the Air Force didn't say, hey, I wouldn't have qualified, yes, I would have. But if it wasn't for the initiative of the recruiter.
Well, because we get a lot of recruiters on here that they whine. And it's so hard.
They whine about what?
Recruiting is so hard. And,
no.
And then but we're all walking in. Every guest we've had right? They just walk right into the recruiter's office, and that's how we're writing contracts. And Albert is like, this is not the way it is. And I'm like, it's just weird, though. It's weird that every guest walks in.
That is not true at all.
And he got high scores, and he's an alpha.
So what you scored on the ASVAB? You remember?
Oh, I mean, I think like a 65. That's not super high. It's nothing crazy, but
it's above average. It was definitely above average.
For me, it was good. It did what it needed to do to make me a satellite operator. 0627. Shout out my guys in the field.
Yeah.
So how was your experience? Because how long have you been in?
So this summer will be 5 years. So I've been in for.
So you're a COVID. So you were
COVID Marine.
Yeah. So you're a COVID. So when you went through boot camp, they had COVID protocols?
100%. I was wearing a mask on my face.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It was hard to breathe. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Okay. So
well, and this is why I always say that, and I haven't said this until today, but San Diego, as we know, is the real Marine Corps. It's the real depot where we make real Marines. And the number one reason, and this is the number one reason.
Keep in mind, you have followers that follow you on the East Coast and come from the East Coast. Don't agree with Barry. He's trying to trap you right now.
No, there's no trap.
He's trying to trap
There's no trap. The number one reason we've never talked about it until right now, and it's always been my secret weapon, because we have Texas.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry.
True.
You can't.
That's true.
Texas is crazy. It's like you cannot go. For you guys that don't know, I don't know what the other branches are like, but we can all agree as Marines, it doesn't matter where you go. You will be flooded with Texas Marines there.
100%.
And they're going to be some of your best Marines ever. So that's awesome. All right. So Marine Corps recruiter, staff sergeant at the time, and they get you in there, you test up. What's going through your mind?
What's going through my mind is honestly when I walked in there, like after I talked to him and everything and I went home that day, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm going to die. No, because the thing is, the plan was to purposely go to the Marine Corps last. Like I said, I was going to exhort every resource, every option. But the plan was to go to them last because I always heard that thing, first to fight. They're the ones that get sent in. Mm-hmm. So later in the podcast, we could touch up on the reality of the Marine Corps versus myths.
Yeah.
Like I thought that I was basically going to be a foot soldier and I was going to get mopped down, even though that's not the truth because we got some badass people that will go lay people down. But that's really what I was thinking. Or Barry, can you actually go over the question again? Because I might be.
Well, two questions. One, what was going through your mind? Like, holy crap, I just sat down with a recruiter. Because first of all, like you said, you were not 18. Mm-hmm. You were a couple of years older, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you had already graduated high school where many of us, including myself, we hit that high school graduate threshold and we're making that decision at that time, right? Number one, you didn't do that. And number two, you got all these things probably flooding through your mind and, so take it from there.
I got some. All right. So I would say what was going through my mind is first, like, since you brought that up about the high school and stuff like that, and I was a little bit older. At 20, I'm thinking two things. I'm thinking, dang, I made a little bit of mistakes and I did some stuff. So I'm already like, dang, I'm behind my peers. Because I'm seeing my peers are like 1 year out from graduating from college or like 2 years out. So I'm like, dang, I'm behind. And that's a hard pill to swallow. So I had a little bit of excitement to know that I was about to do something that one was going to get me back in the fight or back in the game and back level headed with them. Because the one thing, like, even though people go to college and stuff like that and they get that education and that's great and they get that, that stuff, I'm going into the workforce off the back and I'm getting the real hands-on experience. And sometimes when you get done with at the end of your career or your time served, you're going to actually look better than those people that got the education because they actually know that you can do those hands-on skills and you have that knowledge as well as when you're in, you can also get those education and certs. I'm probably getting off topic.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
So it was like, it was an exciting thing because I had felt like I was behind and now I was like, you know what, now I'm about to be able to catch up. And then not just that, but I'm doing something that is like, quote unquote, honorable. And something that, the way that the recruiters branded to you about how this is they love to say this amongst the other recruiters of the other branches, this is the hardest force. Like you're joining the elite, the few.
Sure. How do you feel about that?
I agree. But, cause I agree. So during that moment, I mean, I didn't really know if that was the truth or not because that's all they're telling you. Like, you don't really know until you join the gun club, until you do it. But like now that I'm in and I see I've been able to do like, you know, work with other forces and stuff like that and alongside others. Yeah, no. Our worst people are their best people.
You mentioned a couple things. You said that you didn't want to become a statistic. And then you said that you felt like you were behind. Did you feel pressure to succeed?
100%.
Why?
Just back was against the wall. And I mean, not just that, but also hearing the stuff that the recruiters and stuff, they feed into you and stuff like that. And the information they give you, it's like they're telling you that this organization is the best and it's the top performers. So you got to go out there and perform. Like,
what would you say to the camera to young Americans in Texas or anywhere? Maybe they look like you, maybe they're, and you know, they don't know what to do. Should they join? Like,
this is what I'll say, regardless of what you look like, regardless if you look like me, if you don't look like me, regardless if you have something going on with your life where it's forcing you to join a service branch, or regardless that you have a scholarship to go and be an academic scholar, you should definitely consider joining the military and serving your country. I'm not going to say necessarily, I'm not going to tell you which branch, but I would do the Marine Corps just because I know that we have like the hardest standards and the toughest standards amongst the other branches. And even though people think that our standards and stuff is like diminishing, compared to the other people, we still like, we're up here. We set the bar. And the other branches in some way, shape, or form want to be us. So if you have that education, consider joining and being an officer. If you don't have the education, go enlisted. But at least do a 4 and, you know, see what you like or see what you think about it. Because you never know until you join. And I swear, the memories I've made in this first 4 years, close to none, like next level. Not just that, the amount of people I've been able to connect with and reach out to, the amount of people whose lives I've been able to change, the amount of places I've been able to go to, the financial success, like the whole 9 yards. And that was in 4 years. Like I said, I mean, I just re-upped. So I'm at 4 years and 4 months now.
And how old are you now?
I'm 25 years old. I joined... I joined when I was like getting ready to turn 21. So okay. I'm 20 or 25 right now. And the stuff that I did in my first 4 years, like if I would have got out and called it a career, I could look back and be like, oh yeah, that was fun.
Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
That's motivating.
Yeah, that is. Because I don't know if you probably don't know this because obviously the episode just got released today. Okay, today's a Tuesday, so we're trying to get episodes released every Tuesday. Last week I actually went to Cal State San Marcos, and I was asking college students why they decided to go to college and not join the military.
And what was their main?
Dude, so we got all over. We got some people that were going to college thinking about joining the military. We got some people, there was actually a protest about Palestine. So, you know, we went in there. We actually interviewed some of the protesters.
Just imagine Albert.
We actually interviewed
rolling in.
We actually interviewed some of the protesters really? As well. Yeah, we actually interviewed. I'm glad that you weren't there because it was only.
You just said some great.
It was only myself, Abe, and Jose. And you would have done some crazy ass shit. It was like a mob of people. We would have been like, oh, okay, we can take like 10 of them.
I would have been cool until someone started to pop off at the lip, and I would have been like, okay, dog.
Yeah. Well, we did that.
Protesting and shit, but chill.
Yeah. So the reason why I bring that up is because there is a lot of people that are under a lot of misconceptions.
Sure.
And not only a lot of misconceptions, but people that think that the military will just simply take them.
Yeah.
Oh, that is not the case.
That's not the
case.
Case.
Like I was like, but this is live on recruiting though. You said, and by the way, the second video, which is getting dropped tomorrow, if you guys are watching this, that means that it was last week's episodes. You guys can see that what I did was the second video that I did was like, what would I do as a recruiter if that was my college?
Sure.
Like, what would be some of the things that I would do in order for me to change the perspective and change the mind of the applicants that are there? That episode is getting dropped tomorrow, okay? Or for you guys, last Wednesday. So that's gonna be a very good episode because I literally went around and I was just meeting people. Like I was just stopping people, and one of the questions that I was asking is, "Hey man, when was the last time you saw a recruiter around here?" Marine. My main question was Marine
Like
Corps
on the
recruiter.
campus.
Like on the campus.
And
It's
I
like
bet you they probably said they haven't.
they haven't. They can't. They can't think. They've seen some of them, like the seniors, have sporadically seen them around, but they haven't seen. They haven't seen like a lot of people.
Is that like what kind of an indicator is that to you as a prior recruiter?
That they're focusing their efforts on a school or somewhere else that gives them better results. That's what lets me know. That's what I think. That's me giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
But if you're still assigned that college, I would still go to it because there was a lot of fit people there. Like I interviewed a guy that he was in a fraternity. But you guys got to see the video. You guys got to see the video.
I want to see it, man. I wish I was there. I was sick
you guys. We're gonna do it again for sure. We're gonna do it
I'll
again.
be there.
Maybe deeper down in San Diego. That way we can. Because this one, there was a lot of even veterans. Like Abe was like, we gotta find a couple of veterans. Like, bro, this is easy. It's like, hey, bro, you look like a veteran. Like, have you ever served? It's like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, that's easy.
Y'all, that would be a cool series. Y'all definitely got to go hit like San Diego State.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
USD.
you should see some of the ones he's done. He pops up on these guys on an ocean side getting ready to fish, and he's like asking them all kinds. It's really good, man.
Yeah, it's good engagement, man, and we're very respectful about it because, like I was saying in that podcast, it's like, bro, regardless of how you feel, you gotta understand this, right? When you're in the military, and this is something that a lot of people in the military forget. Okay, a lot of people in the military tend to forget that. First, we fight for their rights to do that type of stuff,
100%.
regardless if they agree with it or not.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we fight for that right. The second thing is that you cannot tell me as a veteran that I cannot, because one of the biggest things that I receive whenever it comes to hate, and I know you do too, is like, look at this veteran. He can't let it go. Like, he can't whatever. And it was like, bro, listen, I fought for 14 years for freedom of speech.
to be able to do this.
I can say whatever the hell I want now that I am out of the military, and I plan to continue to doing that.
But what kind of leaders would we be also? And you're 100% right. If we got out of the military and we both get contacted by people who are still in all branches,
Yeah.
they're dealing with real issues,
Yeah.
and they can't speak on it. Hey, Albert, please keep me anonymous, but this is what's going on in my unit, my command. And we don't just pat guys on the back and go, it'll be okay, little Johnny. If you're screwed up, we'll tell you that. But at the same time, that's where we get a lot of content.
Just like today, like you saw it when we just started. I just got a call from an active duty Marine. And the active duty Marine got dropped from a school. I'm not going to say which school, but he got dropped from a school because of a shoulder injury. And they gave him orders to the East Coast. And this Marine just bought a home 4 months ago because his plan was to finish the school and do whatever duty he was supposed to be assigned. But obviously the plans didn't go that way. So now he's going like, man, like, what do I do? Like, the monitor says that there's no allocations for my MOS in the area that I want to go to. I'm like, bro, there is no way. He's a big MOS. Like, it's not like one of those specialized MOS, like maybe yours. It's like a very broad MOS that has allocations everywhere. It's like, there's absolutely zero way that there's not a spot for you here. I called one of my friends, one of my Master Gunny friends. It's like, yeah, dude, there's allocations. Like, we're like, and the Master Guns is the same MOS. Like, he's a Master Guns in the same MOS. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like nothing crazy. And he goes like, yeah, I mean, send me his information. Let me see what I can do with him. Like, how come there's not the freaking first sergeant for that schoolhouse? How come he is not doing that type of stuff? How come his previous command is not doing that type of stuff? You see what I'm saying? Like that's why they call us. That's why they call us, because we are not attached. Like, there's no agenda behind that.
Because there's too many leaders, and they're not looking for opportunities to take care of Marines. They're not.
I don't know. I don't know how you. I don't know. I agree with you, but let's get an active duty perspective on it, because you're still in, right? Like, how do you feel about what Barry just said?
There's a lot of
His
good.
voice got shaky right there.
Yeah.
No. There's a lot of good leaders. There's a lot of bad leaders. But I mean, I feel like we need to see more of an influence and more of a selflessness to, like, the leaders should want to take care of their people, because at the end of the day, that's how we're gonna either strengthen our organization or hurt our organization. Because when these people don't get taken care of and they get screwed, and you have leaders that have a voice that can help like get that Marine, for example, that has a situation, all he has to do, like, his higher leadership can call some people and make some things happen, or at least try to do something, or at least show the effort instead of just saying, hey man, I guess we can't do nothing for you. Like, it is what it is. And now all of a sudden it's not their problem. If you at least show that effort and stuff like that, that will at least, like, I feel like, strengthen the relationship with your Marines, and not just that, but make people actually want to join. Because a lot of people don't want to join our branch because they hear about stories and the horrors of either how we live or how they get, like, how people get treated when they get out. Because a lot of people that get out with some bad stories. There's a lot of people that get out with good stories. There's a lot of people that get out and either, like, their living conditions or the way they were treated by their leadership was just awful. Once again, I'm getting off topic.
No, but we're definitely on topic, okay? And again, this is just a conversation, so there's no flow. If you want to talk about whatever, we can just talk about whatever. But I want to kind of go through the timeline, right? So obviously, you joined through COVID. You have a very
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you have a very specialized MOS.
Yes, sir.
So what is your MOS for the record?
So my MOS, my job that I do on a day-to-day basis is a satellite operator. That's a 0627. So fancy comm.
Did you know that you were going to do that MOS right out of MCT? Like, did you know that that was a job that you were going to do?
Yes.
In other words, my question, to be more specific, was that the job that your recruiter told you that you were going to do?
No. I knew I was going to do comms, but I didn't know I was going to do that. I was supposed to be a radio operator. And then I guess I did good at the radio operator school. Like, it was like the top 5 or whatever percent. Mm-hmm. And then we got selected to be satellite operators. So then we went to an additional follow-on school after the radio operator.
Oh, okay.
God bless, because I would not want to be stuck just being a radio operator.
It was, okay, yeah. But so the school, so in other words, in order for you to be a satellite operator, you have to be top 10% or top 5% of the regular comm school.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously comm school is in 29 Palms.
Yes.
Where's the satellite school?
It was in Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Whoa.
But I don't know if they're still doing it there anymore. Like, it's been a while, and things change pretty frequently. But it was in Fort Gordon, Georgia. Okay,
so Fort Gordon, Georgia. Now you get orders. Mm-hmm. Where were you expecting to go? Like, let's say, for example, right? If there's a Marine right now that is going through their MOS school and they have an expectation of them going somewhere, can you, if you remember, of course, can you walk them through what to expect when they get orders?
You just got to have an open mind. So you got to be open. Honestly, I didn't expect to go anywhere. Like, I knew that I could go anywhere. I'm happy with where I ended up. I wanted to be here in Camp Pendleton, California.
Yeah.
But truth be told,
did they even ask you for your preferences though?
No.
So, because like when I was in MOS school, they were like, "What do you want to do? East Coast, West Coast, overseas?" They didn't do that.
Actually, I think they did. But I want to say, even though they did, they already had names to duty stations.
Yeah. I want to know in the comments. Like, let me know in the comments. How many of you guys actually got the duty station preference right off of MOS school that you guys put in your wish list of duty stations? Like, I really want to know how much percentage did you guys actually get? Because there is a big thing out there that say, like, they go backwards. So if you put number 1, that's really your number 3 option. Mm-hmm. So if you put Camp Pendleton number 3, you're really getting Camp Pendleton. If you put Camp Lejeune,
I chose Okinawa and they sent me to Camp Pendleton.
Yeah, I want to say the truth. I put Hawaii as number 1 and they sent me to Camp Pendleton.
Close enough, right? That's what they're thinking. It's like, well, close enough.
Yeah.
So I put Hawaii, Camp Pendleton, and then I put Okinawa.
Oh, you got your second.
That's no. It worked out, but I genuinely think that it's just luck of the draw, and you just have to. You can't expect anything. You just have to go in with an open mindset and just make the best of wherever you go. That's what it's all about, because each place is unique.
That's some very good advice there.
Oh yeah.
Specifically as a brand new Marine.
100%.
You got to go with an open mind. And you have to just simply adapt, because what tends to happen, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you get some of those instructors. And in some cases, some of those instructors have been away from the fleet for 1 to 3 years, depending on how long their tour of duty is. Mm-hmm. And they're giving advice to those Marines in a school pipeline, in a student pipeline, back from how the fleet was 1 year, 2 years ago. And then now those Marines get to the fleet And then all of a sudden, damn, this is not what Staff Sergeant Ramos told me the fleet was gonna be. Mm-hmm. And then now you end yourself with a shitbag, or a Marine that was part of the schoolhouse, and then you received that Marine. It's like, goddamn, Marine, how did you pass even boot camp?
That's 100% right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like and then so what I'm trying to see is like, where's the disconnect?
There's a lot of variables too. You know, you're gonna have instructors, and you know, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hook up this unit. They screwed me on the last one. I'm gonna send them this Marine who's jacked up like a football bat. But okay, so let's go back to pre-boot camp. Okay. You're going to San Diego. What time of year is it?
I shipped off in July.
Now, how long were you in the DEP program? Like
very, very short amount of time. I want to say I was in for 6 months or less. I was always I was always put on. I always told them put me on as a standby because I had a situation where I needed to get out of that predicament.
Sure.
So I was like,
so you did some pool functions. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you went in the summertime to boot camp. What company did you go to in boot camp? Do you remember?
Mike Company.
Mike.
Company.
Okay.
That's the best company.
Okay, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. So
no,
shout out to Mike Company if you're a Mike Company recruit.
I wonder what's going to happen when you go to drill instructor school and you don't end up in Mike Company.
Platoon 3267, Mike Company, yeah.
So, so walk us through that. Okay, you're on the bus. You get to MCRD San Diego. You hit the yellow footprints. What goes through Isaac the Dream's mind?
All right, so Sergeant Major Barry, first of all, so they take me on the bus. And we don't go to the yellow footprints. We go to a hotel because this is COVID. So I come from San Antonio to the San Diego International Airport. We get bussed up, and then we get taken to a hotel because we got to quarantine for 14 days before we can even go to MCRD San Diego and even see footprints.
Wow.
So they go and they put us in a hotel. I can't think of the name of it, but it's literally diagonal across the street from the Midway. And I ain't gonna lie, I had a very good introduction to the Marine Corps because the hotel was like a 4-star hotel. Like, it was bougie. I kid you not. I was on like the 19th floor. It was me and another recruiter, another, whatever you want to call him, another civilian who was also waiting to get, to actually get taken to MCRD San Diego. So we're there for 2 weeks. What does it look like during that? Like, we're getting our box chowds brought to us at a certain time. They're waking us up. Even though we're in a hotel, they're waking us up. Like, they're banging on each doors to make sure we're up and, like, doing accountability in the hallways and stuff like that.
Who's they?
They had...
Like, just Fleet Marines?
They were Fleet Marines for sure. And I want to say the Fleet Marines also had, like, some type of DI with them as well.
Okay.
So they would do that, and then that was a 2-week period. After we did that, we then were taken to the like hotel basically on MCRD San Diego, or it wasn't a hotel, I guess. It was like, where they keep, I guess, like the students.
Sure.
Like DI school.
Yep, I know.
Then we had to quarantine there for a week. So that's 3 weeks of quarantine. Yeah, I can't make this up. That's 3 weeks of quarantine.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
No, I felt like I was in jail, like a fancy jail, because we had a TV, and like I said, it's a 4-star hotel, and we're just doing like, you're able to turn on the TV, and it had like a FFI instructor that's leading you through the workouts like to do like during the day. So we're just working out all day and we're eating, and it's like small portions of food or like nasty food and stuff like that. And it's honestly miserable, but I enjoyed every moment of that because it really gave me opportunity to lock in and to really focus on, the decision and what I got myself out like into.
So you felt that you were set up for success prior to you even starting boot camp?
100%. 100%. But
that's
also,
crazy though. 3 weeks.
No. I know it's crazy. And like I said, I was on the 19th floor. And the location that I told you where it was, like, I could literally go to the 19th floor. I could look out my window and I could see the airstrip, and then I could see the yellow buildings of MCRD San Diego in the distance. So I was just like, damn, another 2 weeks, or like another 10 days, another 7 days, another 6 days, another 4 days. And the next thing you know, I'm on the bus and we're headed there. Sure. And then I'm thinking I'm gonna get on the yellow footprints. I'm not on the yellow footprints. We're getting taken to the hotel to do another quarantine. And then this whole time, we're phoneless. Even though we're at the hotels and we're in quarantine, we're phoneless.
Wow.
So then
so you're just sitting around eating, talking, and working out.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
And 100%. I got really close to that guy, but I think that guy ended up going like AWOL or something, unfortunately, like when he got to boot camp.
Sure.
But Yeah, I don't know. He was tough, dude. I thought he was gonna make it. I was trying to get like him. That guy was bigger than me.
Yeah, well, hey.
But it's all about mental. So, anyways, we get to the yellow footprints, and as soon as I got off the bus and like all the chaos, it was crazy. I was like, wow, I might have been off a chunk too big. I mean, in all reality, that wasn't the case, but I've never dealt with people all in my grill like this. And the way that the drill instructors turn it on, it's like, wow, like this is insane. This is intense. I felt like a tornado was going on inside my brain. Not just that, but also the fact that we were like COVID Marines and we had basically like 3 weeks of like luxury or quarantine. In their eyes, it was luxury.
Yeah.
I definitely think that played a factor, or at least in my head. I thought that played a factor to the reason why each night they were keeping us up so late to do stuff. Because we were doing stuff, I feel like, at very, very late hours and all that stuff.
What do you call a very late hour?
It felt like we were up at like 1 or 2 a.m., but maybe
because it's receiving.
Yeah, it was like receiving.
So, to get you through the end processing. Yeah. And they keep you up for several days straight, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's part of
Yeah, it's a part of it.
Yeah,
but I'm just thinking, no, these guys are like trying to get their get back on us because we've been in the hotel and they've been out here.
Because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah, you don't know that's part of the.
Yeah. And it was just a great experience, and that honestly made me like that drew me into wanting to do that. Because I had the opportunity
to do what?
To one day be a drill instructor, because I felt like I had some, not necessarily the ones that were in receiving were the best, but my actual drill instructors for my platoon were super good and super strong.
Was it kind of like, I didn't have, videos of DIs yelling and stuff like that before I joined, but, I've always thought that it's like, I remember going to DI school as well and being a recruit, and it's one thing to hear about it, to talk about it, or to watch it in a video or on a film. But when it happens to you, I felt very disoriented. It was very chaotic. It was like my brain stopped working.
100%.
It was like my brain didn't work. And it was like the most simple things. You're like, what, can you relate to that?
Yeah, I can relate 100%. I want to say I did a good amount of research leading up to going out there. I asked Staff Sergeant and Gunnery Sergeant Romer multiple times about how it was going to be, as well as there was people that came back. They came on like RA back to the recruiting station before I pushed out.
So I was talking about recruiters' assistants.
I am. So I talked to them and I'm like, hey, like, how was it? And they're telling me what to expect. And then I go out there and it's like a data dump. I'm like, wow, like nothing is going to prepare you from the moment. Like, you just got to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can basically study for it and prepare as much as you want, but until the moment you're put in that position, yeah.
And the crazy part? The crazy part is that before you go to boot camp and you experience it yourself, you think like all this boot camp war stories are like so cool, and then you go to boot camp and then you're like, dude, you shut the fuck up about it. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody cares.
Facts.
I went to boot camp too. Like whip-diddy fucking who? Like who cares?
Yeah.
And then the same thing with like combat stories and or deployment stories and all that stuff. It's like, well, yeah, fucking cool, dude. Like, yeah, you went on a freaking mule, or you went to Afghanistan. It's like, I went too, or I didn't go. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. Now, I do want to go ahead and I want to transition a little bit, right? Because obviously, again, there's only so many places that you can go in your MOS. Am I right?
You are. I mean,
okay. So what are some of the duty stations that you can go in your MOS?
Okay, so you're right and wrong at the same time, because we can go anywhere. I can go to East Coast Lejeune. I can go to Cherry Point. I can go to Oki. I can go to Hawaii. I can go to Guam.
Okay.
I can go anywhere. I just can't go to a place I feel like we're like I wanted to go to the Pentagon. Because I have some friends that are there. They're networkers. They do like data. But the Pentagon doesn't have people that do SATCOM or satellite operator. So I can't go there.
Okay.
And then I can't go to necessarily any reserve units. I mean, unless I go on like I&I or something like that.
Yeah.
But I really have no limitations. But a part of me, like when I was like young in the Corps, I wanted to go to the Pentagon. I'm pretty cool on doing that now. But I heard that I can't go there because they don't even have that type of stuff.
Because the reason why I asked that, right, is because this is where I was heading before Barry took us all the way back to boot camp again.
No, I enjoyed that. I hope we go back there one more time. I have a boot camp story.
So, no. Well, actually, before we start, let's go ahead. You can go ahead and ask that question, Barry. It's like, what was the craziest boot camp story?
Well, I like, okay, so let's start here. So, Black Friday. For those of you guys who don't know, every Marine knows Black Friday because that's what we call when it's not when you get to boot camp and you get on the yellow footprints. You go through, you get on the yellow footprints, you meet your receiving drill instructors, you do the end processing, which is a little bit different timeline for all recruits, depending on when you got there. On Friday, you meet your real drill instructors with your real platoon, with the other recruits that you're going to be with for, the remainder of recruit training until you earn the title of United States Marine. And that's when you land on the quarterdeck. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember all of them. And that's the one thing even like what you're saying, brushing up on the combat stories and the
boot camp stories?
Yeah, the boot camp stories and stuff like that. Everyone's like, oh, shut up. But honestly, they're all super duper unique. So it's interesting to hear everyone's story, even though we've all been there, done that. Everyone's is unique. But I remember Sergeant Valentine, this mean, short, bald, old hat. Sergeant Ayala, I think he got out. And then there was a staff sergeant. I think he's now a gunnery sergeant, Rabot. That was the meanest guy, and he wanted to drop me. And I'll tell y'all why later. And then there was a staff sergeant, Dino, who's now a gunnery sergeant, Dino. And that was the senior hat. And I just recall how sharp our senior drill instructor, gunnery sergeant Dino, was. He was just so squared away. And yeah, it's just, I don't even know how to necessarily explain it. But Black Friday,
what were you thinking when they marched out?
Oh, when they marched out, I was like, these guys are robots. I'm like, these guys are some bots. I was terrified because I was like, holy crap. They're just so well put together, so structured, so groomed, so sharp, looking at every attention to detail. There's no flaw in them. They look like a mannequin. It's like the mannequin's in front of me, and now the mannequin's coming to life when they started speaking. And then they're blasting us with the way they project their voice and stuff like that. So like I said, that made me think dang, if they can do it, I can do it. So even though I was a recruit, and they love to say if you make it, to be a Marine, they love saying that. I was thinking, if I do make it, I want to do that because if you can do it, I can do it, type of deal. But that was Black Friday was chaotic. Expect to get no sleep, expect to get no rest, but just know that it's going to be fun. And just the whole boot camp experience is going to be fun. I know drill instructors don't like to hear that probably because it's not meant to be fun. You're supposed to be there to discipline and break them down and build them up and to make them to a product. But if you're a person that's going to join, there's going to be moments where you're going to think when you get done, how fun it was and just about all the funny moments where you couldn't laugh.
Okay, so what is your craziest boot camp story that you can share with us?
All right, so my craziest boot camp story, and I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the tail one day, but I almost got dropped when we went up north. So we went up north. I was a squad leader the whole duration of boot camp. Whenever you go, try to be in a leadership role, and that's whatever you do in life. It's good to be a follower, but if you can be a leader, why not challenge yourself to be a leader? So since day one, when I got there, when they said who wants to be squad leader, guide, stuff like that, rose my hand to be guide. Cool, I couldn't march that good, got fired. What could I do? Keeping it real. But after 3 weeks in, I got sharp. I was looking good. Oh. But anyways, they said, hey, Osei, you can't be the damn guide, but you can be the third squad leader. Cool. I ran with that forever. I love that. And then, so anyways, we get up north and the squad leaders, they pull us all in the DIs. They're like, hey, squad leaders guide, come up here. They're like, hey, distribute the chow. This is literally, I want to say 1 or 2 days before we were supposed to do the culminating event. So anyways, we were supposed to distribute the chow and there just happened to be an extra chow. So we had given them all out. There was an extra chow and I don't know why, but that voice in my head was you want the extra chow. I already had a chow, but there was one left. And no one peeped that there was an extra chow except for me and one of my buddies. And we already we looked at each other we had that bond. We looked at each other hey, we gonna do it. We gonna make this extra chow disappear. This is a setup. So look, the extra chow.
It was a setup?
No, it definitely wasn't, but okay, let me keep going. So there's the extra chow. Me and him are looking at each other and we're like, you think what I'm thinking? He's like, oh yeah, cool. We grab the food out of the bag and we put it into our bag chows. And then we just crumple up the bag and we make the bag disappear. So it looked like there wasn't an extra bag or anything like that, and we just finessed it like that. Or I think one of us stuffed the bag in like our gooch or something like that, just so it looked like there was exactly that amount of bags. And then we just, we scarf our face, and they walk around and they count you down while you're scarfing your face. But if you position your body a certain type of way, you can get away with it. So cool, we're eating, we're scarfing it down, blah 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 blah. Our platoon got done eating first, but they had us like all out. Like we're eating as like a series.
Oh.
Yes.
Here it comes.
This is where it comes. This is bad. So we're eating as a series. And honestly, the drill instructor, I don't know which one fucked up, but one of them fucked up because it's their fault. It wasn't we shouldn't have done that. It was morally wrong, but they fucked up because the DIs, like they huddled up and they're like, hey, DIs, hey, any of y'all got an extra bag of chow? And they're like, no, we don't. And they're like, why? And they're like, oh, well, you were supposed to grab our tray, and like y'all grabbed our tray, and we were supposed to grab your tray.
It was for
and each one has the specific amount to that platoon. So it was for another platoon. So they knew that there was an extra chow and someone had eaten the chow. They knew it. So it was GG's from that point. So then the plot thickens. So they're like, zero. They're like, everyone dropped their food, blah, 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 blah. We had already eaten everything. I'm talking about everything. Because me and my boy, we knew like what we were doing. So we had to get it all done. And it comes like the little clear bag. So like after we ate the extra sandwich, we put that clear bag inside of this one and just balled it up. And like, anyways, we just knew what we were doing. Anyways, they have everyone stop. They have everyone dump their bags out. They have everyone stand up. They have everyone looking around. They're like, where's the extra sandwich? They're like, we know that someone in this platoon has an extra sandwich. And they're causing chaos in every platoon. They're making every platoon do it. And they're like, hey, you know what? If that extra sandwich doesn't come up, all of y'all that haven't finished y'all's food, y'all are going to throw all the rest of your food away. You have people to the left and to the right crying. Because some people don't eat as fast as us. We knew that we had to eat fast. But you got people to the left and right crying.
Is this your last meal, like before you start the crucible?
Yeah.
Or was this like some type of special meal, or did you guys eat?
No, it wasn't a special meal. This was the dinner time the day before the crucible.
But did you eat all the meals like that, or was it just before the crucible?
No, every time we I don't think we had ever eaten as a series like that. So it was just before the crucible that the whole series ate together.
Okay.
But usually it was like one platoon at a time.
So you're thinking, okay, we're about to be real hungry on this crucible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not him.
hey.
There's going to be somebody. It's going to be one
somebody out there is really sad.
It's going to be really hungry.
I was thinking somebody's going to get God back. It's going to be me. But no, my friend was too. But anyways.
Hey, if you're that one Marine that didn't eat, please, if you get to see this, I want to hear from you.
Know.
Did you make it? How hungry were you in the crucible?
Yeah,
I really want to know.
I'd love to hear his perspective too. But
hey, you owe him some food now. If you do come out, he's gonna pay for your food.
I would do that because I feel bad, but they actually they figured out a way because. They couldn't. I'm pretty sure it's like a training protocol or manual. Like you couldn't just have him not eat. Yeah. So they went and like bought him food out of their own pockets. So they did something, but they made everyone throw their food away. Wow. I'm telling you, we were willing to go to like. I was willing to take this to the grave. To the grave. They made everyone throw their food away. I seen guys to the left and to the right crying. I'm not crying though. I'm just like.
I know you got your belly full.
You're sweating. You are nervous.
No. Like I said, I had the wrapper of the extra sandwich. Where
are you motioning?
Where do we? We had to gooch some of the evidence.
What does that mean?
You had to stuff.
Did we put it in our prison wallets?
We did.
Wow.
we had to.
Okay.
Just to make sure that all the
some real G shit right there.
That's some straight up gangster.
All the evidence was clear. So look, anyways, it got to a point where they were like, all right, cool. We're like, not only has everyone thrown their food away.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep y'all out here all night. Like
all night.
They're like, yeah, y'all are gonna say crisscross applesauce like this in this position all night since no one wants to speak up, blah blah blah. And then people are just like, if people are just talking amongst each other, like if you did it, just freaking speak up.
Just say something.
Just say something. Blah, blah,
in the most dramatic recruit voice.
100%. And then
just say something.
And then
do it.
And then the drill instructors got smart. They say, hey, squad leaders, guys, get up here. And they start going to each one of us. They're like, did you do it? Like, oh, you look like you did. This isn't to me. This is just like what they're saying to like the people next to me. They're saying something different to each one of us. They're like, oh, you look like you did it. They're like, your belly look a little big. Like, you must have did it. Like, they're basically putting it on you for you to say that you did it.
Yeah.
And
Listen. We know you did it.
Yeah.
We knew but we want to make sure you're going to be honest.
Yeah. So I say all that to say, I was sweet talked. They're like, whoever did it, this is where they pulled everyone up. Everyone's still sitting down. Like all the people that were GP, General Pop, they're sitting down, crisscross applesauce, just crying and moaning and groaning and complaining. All the squad leaders were online talking to all of the senior drill instructors and the J hats and stuff like that. And they're like, look, whoever did it, they're like, there'll be no repercussions. Just say you did it so that we can go and get new food for the person who's foodless and reimburse them, and we can have a successful crucible. Somewhere in my heart, I mean, I'm not like I feel like I don't lie, cheat, or steal. I have very good morals, even though that was ethically a wrong decision to make.
You did steal the chow, Isaac. Isaac.
They messed up.
You tactically acquired it.
I tactically acquired it, but they shouldn't have made a mistake.
Which is Marine for steal.
They should have had the exact amount of chow for the allocated amount of recruits there was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm be honest. Yes, I did. I did what was wrong. So I went up like a grown ass man, and I didn't take out my friend who also did the deed with me.
Yeah.
I told my senior drill instructor, or actually no, I told the J hat, and I was like, "Sir, I need to talk to you about something." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "I need to use the head. This recruit needs to use the head." Cool. They take me up to the head. I go use the head, and I come out the head. And I'm like, "Sir, I need to tell you, like, I took the chow." They're in disbelief because I'm like one of the top performers. I'm the squad leader. All this stuff. They're like, "You did what?" I'm like, I'm the one that ate the extra sandwich. They're like, no, they're in disbelief that I did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, sir, I ate the sandwich.
They're probably thinking, okay, Isaac just wants us to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, that's probably the mindset. And then I pull out the evidence. Oh, the prison wallet. I pull out the evidence. And then they're like, oh shit, like he did it. So my J hat, Gunnery Sergeant and Staff Sergeant Rabot, wanted me gone. He was like, nah. He was like, F this. He was like, we're going to drop him back to T-Day 1.
Oh, damn.
I've seen it, man.
And in all reality, it could have happened and it didn't happen. It's a blessing. But he was like, nah, like we're going to max him out.
Yeah.
But the senior, me and him, I don't want to say we had a bond because I don't want to, like, that sounds weird. Yeah. But he'd seen the way that I performed and he'd seen the way that I carried myself, that he was willing to realize that, like, the guy made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it went like a lot of duking, but at the end of the day, his word is authority.
Yeah.
Like it's platoon. So he gave me a chance to redeem myself, and they made my life hell after that. Because cool, I got fired from squad leader, and that meant a lot to me because I wanted to be in a leadership position. That decision indirectly cost me getting meritoriously promoted to private first class, which that doesn't matter. Like not like looking back at it. Yeah, it does. We'll get back to that later. So I was just happy that I could continue with the team that I started with and finish the fight with them, and that I was given another chance. So I'm forever grateful to that gentleman, Gunnery Sergeant Dino, that gave me the opportunity to continue.
I'm just gonna say this:
Gunnery Sergeant Rabot still hates me to this day.
Yeah, I bet he does. What did the other recruits give you hell? Was there a blanket party?
Nah, Ari, I was bigger than them.
Okay. Listen, time out. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. Like, you gotta think, if you hit that shit right there, it had to be so fucking uncomfortable to walk. And how come they didn't hear the crumbling when you were walking like?
Cause I'm telling you,
that shit had to be uncomfortable.
We did it perfectly. But here's the thing, I was willing to take the fall, and my boy that was in on it with me, he got scot-free, and he ended up later, he was the scribe. He then moved from being scribe to the third squad leader, which was what I was in charge of. And then he got the meritorious promotion.
So one thing right to the other one, huh?
Yeah. So no. I mean, I know that's not how the story should have ended, but and I was willing to take the fall because I want to see him go down too, and I'm not going to snitch.
Yeah.
Respectfully. So that's a story, and then another story is, and I don't know why we were doing this, but the whole platoon was in on it. So we would volunteer for fire watch. Yeah, that's usually like going in, like people do not want fire watch. No one wants to sleep.
Well, can you explain for the audience that don't know what fire watch is?
Yeah,
what is fire watch?
So fire watch is you're watching the squad bay at nighttime. All the recruits are asleep, and there's someone on the front post, there's someone on the back post, and there's 2 rovers. You're making sure that no one is coming on deck and messing with y'all's deck. You're making sure that the safety, the welfare, and the well-being of the squad bay and of the recruits are good. And you have an hour shift. I don't know if it was an hour or 2 hours. I think it was an hour.
Yeah, one.
An hour shift, and then you switch to the next group of 4, and then the next group of 4, and the next group of 4. You're performing that all night until the next morning when you wake up. That was an everyday thing. The person that distributes the Firewatch is the scribe. So if you are going to recruit training, be the scribe, because that way you never have to do Firewatch. You can purposely not put yourself as Firewatch, and there won't be no repercussion unless nowadays the drill instructors are in and they know that that's like the scribe doesn't give themselves Firewatch. Or if you're a leadership position, like a squad leader or something, and you're close with the scribe, or if you're just buddies with the scribe, you can also get out of having Firewatch and having your sleep interrupted. If you're the guide, you're the leader of the platoon, the face of the platoon, you should want to do Firewatch. So there's that.
When I was
I'm gonna tell you this.
When I was a third hat and a J, anytime my senior left, I murdered the scribe.
Yes. No, I would always hear that.
No. I trashed his desk. I trashed his binders. Trashed him. And I murdered him until he was within an inch of his life. Every time. And 9 of his closest friends. And you know who you are.
I'm gonna tell you this though. Firewatch was the one thing that my recruiter never told me about. He told me you're gonna get.
I feel like I felt your letdown right there.
Yeah, because he told me you're gonna get 8 hours of sleep no matter what.
No,
you know it's like it's gonna be hard training, but this and this and that. I'm like, okay, cool, I can do this. And then next thing you know, it's like Firewatch. I got a motherfucker with a moonbeam on his.
They picked on Albert.
Yeah, they did. They did pick on me.
Of course,
they did pick on me. And then you got Firewatch. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Those memes are so funny. Where it's like, wait. Wake up. You got
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you guys this. We've been talking for about almost an hour now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a part 2 to this podcast. So make sure that you guys go to the next one. Or if you're watching this live, make sure that you guys wait until tomorrow to go watch the video. Guys, as always, make sure that you guys like, follow, and subscribe to the A2B podcast. This is your number one source for military entrepreneurship. Guys, make sure that you guys show some support to Ramos Capital and Noble Fitness. Bull, where can people reach out to you at?
You guys know where to find me. Number one, first and foremost, go to the ADV podcast. It's on YouTube. The links are in my bios on all my platforms. Go check it out. Subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell. That way, when we drop a fresh, hot episode, you will be notified about it. I value each and every one of you guys out there. All the engagement, every like, every subscriber, and all the comments. Instagram, @Bull5277. TikTok, @Bull52772. Like I said, all the links are in my bio. You can schedule a call with me. The call is free, and the change is going to last you a lifetime.
All right, and Isaac, where can people reach out to you at?
You can reach out to me on Instagram, on TikTok, Isaac the Dream, ISAACDADREAM, or you can reach out to me in real life if you see me out and about in Oceanside, San Diego, LA area, or if you see me out in Camp Pendleton. I'm always happy to give advice or anything you need. I'm here for you.
Awesome, guys. Make sure that you guys tune into the part 2. We might have a part 3 because we haven't even scratched the surface with Isaac.
I know, I'm actually disappointed.
We haven't even scratched the surface. Like I try to do like 2 times, Isaac. Just so you know, I try to do like 2 times the intro to the things that like the mentorship and all those things. But these are things that we're definitely going to be talking about in the second episode. We're going to be digging into the first 4 years for Isaac because he is actually going to DI school here in the next April. 2 months.
Hello.
So we're going to be talking about that, guys. Make sure that you guys tune in. I'll see you guys.